Good morning, and welcome to Practice with Pangur. Even if it's not morning when you're watching this, I hope you have a good morning. I have two cats who don't know how to tell time, but love being wished good morning, so I use it as an all-purpose greeting semi-frequently. It is actually morning when I'm recording this, so you might be able to hear birds outside my window. They have a lot to say. Today's video is going to be a chatty discussion about tension in music students, especially classical and string students, as those are the areas I have the most experience with. If you are a student watching this one, I want you to think about how relaxed or tense you feel when you play your instrument. Do you feel very relaxed, a little, not at all relaxed? If you have a teacher or practice buddy, do they ever ask you to relax when you're playing? Tension is a big topic in music circles, especially with musicians who play classical music. The music is difficult, the rehearsals are long, the concerts are long. In the last couple months in particular, I've seen multiple articles on violinist.com talking about tension and anxiety in rehearsals, and how some students lose their love of their instrument after playing at a high level. And that was my alarm going off right there, if you heard that. Now, I had a hard time planning for this video, and not just because my phone alarm went off when I was trying to record this. I knew I wanted it to be about tension and how anxiety, stress, and trauma can make musicians physically tense and unable to play. But I wanted to give the topic the attention it deserves, and this is a huge topic. There are a multitude of articles on anxiety and stress in orchestral players, public school music programs, and music major dropouts in universities. There is also a growing number of articles about how trauma affects someone's ability to play and perform. What some programs are experiencing is that while they lose some students to anxiety, stress, and lack of accessible practices, they are also losing students who no longer love their instrument, with many of these students planning to no longer play in any context. When it comes to stress and anxiety, physical tension makes it harder to play any instrument. When your muscles are tense, you can't move as quickly or smoothly, and the solution is not as easy as do some yoga so you aren't tense. The logic goes, if you don't address the anxiety, stress, or trauma, the physical tension will come back, and long-term tension can result in injuries. Many musicians experience tension-related injuries that affect their ability to play and their quality of life, and there's a lot of information you can find about preventing injuries. There's also a fair amount of research about why musicians might be so anxious, and there are more resources in recent years dedicated to making classrooms and rehearsal halls more accessible for everyone. There's a lot less research about why studying an instrument on a high level causes some students to lose their love of their instrument. Shouldn't learning more about an instrument make it more fun and fulfilling to play, not less? Well, you can find articles attributing this phenomenon to burnout or autocratic conductors. I think the problem is further back than that. Rarely do I have an older student decide to stop lessons on a whim. The decision is often months or years in the making. It also feels unfair and short-sighted to say that students stop lessons or band or orchestra because it's too hard or they lack the time to practice. I think the answer as to why some students leave an instrument they once loved starts with how they began learning the instrument in the first place. Learning an instrument is a deeply personal thing, and in the past 20 years, music programs and studios have become focused on productive and performative output rather than the personal side of playing. When students start learning in studios or programs that place more emphasis on concerts, new enrollment, and competition amongst players, the personal relationship they have with their instrument can become objective and lose nuance. Suddenly, instead of learning a set of techniques to make music they enjoy playing and listening to, they're learning how to play for the next concert and compete with their peers. While competition can play a healthy role in orchestras and string programs, students who lose their love of an instrument often find their self-esteem tied in with the competition of the orchestra. Being placed in the back of the section or not being moved up to a higher level orchestra with their friends can become a reflection of who they are as a person and indicate that they are in some way a bad person. After a student experiences this, it can be extremely hard to regain the love they once had for their instrument because their instrument becomes the symbol of their perceived failure. While I believe most teachers are well-meaning and care about their students and do not intend to have this effect, teachers may lack the knowledge and resources to prevent this from happening. However, I think the solution for helping students retain their love of music and reduce stress and anxiety in music students is supportive and affirming community. If students are supported in accessible, community-oriented ways, and string programs prioritize accessibility and community over musical output and numeric growth, more students will continue loving their instrument and experience less anxiety and stress in lessons and rehearsals. The most important part of this change is supporting students the way they want to be supported. I've participated in many programs that were supportive and community-focused for certain students, but lacked the resources or the knowledge to support all of their students. I've also worked in programs where there were not resources to support all the students and teachers, and donor input was more important than the well-being of the ensembles. Without an accessible approach, some students will inevitably quit and lose their love of their instrument. So, students watching this, how relaxed do you feel when you play your instrument? I hope you feel relaxed and enjoy playing, but if you don't, I hope you find ways to relax and enjoy playing your instrument. I'm including a few of the articles I read in preparation for this video in the description box, so feel free to check them out. This is only a brief overview of a very broad topic and does not touch on potential solutions, because I think that is highly specific to the community and ensemble in question. I did part of my undergrad research on inclusion and accessibility in music education in the United States, and I will probably do another video on this topic in the future. So what would you want me to cover in that video? Also, if you didn't watch our last video, go check it out. It's about how to listen for notes and musical patterns while you practice, and includes some practice techniques I use. After you watch that video, let me know which video format did you like the most. I'll probably change up the format for another video or two until I figure out what I like to do and what you like watching. So I'll see you in the next video, which will be on April 21st. And until then, happy practicing.